You guys want to know what's in the box, don't you?
So I got a new bike. In the box behind me is what many consider to be one of the best value trail bikes in the industry right now. And in this video, I'm gonna show you 10 things that I do to a new bike before taking it down its first trail.
Top to bottom.
I'm sure we can all agree that there are very few things in life more exciting than new bike day. Rushing your new bike directly to the trails from the bike shop, or if you ordered it online, quickly assembling it to ride some of your favorite trails can be very tempting. Today, I want to show you 10 things that I do when I get a new bike before hitting the trails. Trust me, making sure that all of these are in order will not only save you a lot of heartache, but also keep you safe. Before finding their new owners, bikes live in cardboard boxes, sometimes for months. Also, the person that assembled it and packed it into this tiny box may have skimped out on this very important step. So do yourself a favor and double check that all of your bearings are well greased. I myself like to do the suspension pivots, bottom bracket, and if you're not confident in doing that or don't have the right tools, that's okay. At the very least, grease up your headset. Just loosen the top cap, take your stem off, and then you get access to your headset. This new bike came with very little grease in the headset and would have undoubtedly started creaking very soon and worn out the bearings prematurely. New bikes get packaged and shipped with this thick and sticky grease on the chain. Going out and riding with this stuff still on is going to attract a ton of dust, dirt, and grime that can start wearing your drivetrain right away. That's why I grab a clean rag, my favorite degreaser, and get that sticky stuff off the brand new chain. I then applied just enough of the proper chain lube for the weather I'll be riding in. Dry lube is for dry and dusty climates. It goes on lighter, doesn't last as long, but dust doesn't stick to it. And if you ride in a rainforest like me for half the year, you're going to want to use wet lube. It goes on thicker, lasts longer, and won't get washed away by mud and water. Most modern bikes these days come with tubeless ready wheels and tires, but for one reason or another, ship in the box with tubes. I absolutely hate getting pinch flats. They can really be a downer on what could have otherwise been a perfect day out on the trail. So I measure the inside width of my new rims, grab the right size width tubeless tape, the right valves, install everything and make sure I don't have leaks. My new Polygon came with tubeless tape already installed. That saved me a ton of time. All I had to do was find the right valves, get some tire sealant, and I'm ready to go. Going tubeless has many benefits, like weight savings. Lighter wheels mean faster acceleration. No tubes means no pinch flats. And that means that you're going to be able to run lower tire pressure. And lower tire pressure means you'll get a ton more grip out on the trail. So do yourself a favor, ditch those tubes. If you ride aggressively like I do, or even if you plan on encountering a rock or a root out on the trails that you ride, installing some tire inserts will help you protect those new rims. I've dinged and bent and broken so many rims in the past because I never knew about these. I've tried a few different ones, but the best I've had by far, in my opinion, are the Cushcore inserts. These protect your rims when you hit a square edge like a root or a rock. They allow you to run lower tire pressure, getting you more traction on the trail, all while reducing hand fatigue. They support your sidewalls so you can corner faster, and they pretty much stop your tires from burping so you don't lose any air pressure. They have so many benefits and are well worth the small investment. They're a little tricky to install for a beginner though, so I made a tutorial on the channel that makes this whole process a breeze. Most new bikes now come with at least a little bit of frame protection, but that's usually only around the chainstay or maybe the bottom bracket. A flying rock or an unscheduled dismount can scratch or chip your new bike's beautiful paint job. Companies like Ride Wrap make custom kits tailored to your specific bike frame and forks. There's a few different levels of protection you can go with, but I usually go with at least the essential. This is a thick frame shield that not only protects your paint job against chips and scratches, but also makes it a lot easier to clean your bike as mud won't stick to it. It's also going to help you out in the long run. When you sell your used bike, your frame's going to be in mint condition. Okay, just a few more things to check before going outside. How about every single bolt on the bike? While I adjust the handlebars and brake levers to the angle I want them at, I usually grab my little torque wrench and look for numbers like this. These numbers are the torque specs the manufacturer recommends for each part on your bike. Any looser, and the bike won't be safe to ride. Any tighter, and you run the risk of stripping the threads or crushing the components inside the bike. This little guy can make your first ride safe and can save you a ton of money in the long run. I use this torque wrench I bought on Amazon a few years ago, but if you don't have one, don't worry. Bikes Online give you one in the accessory box with your new bike. No, I don't mean this kind of sag. Suspension sag is the amount that your fork and rear shock compress under your own body weight. Suspension is designed not only to compress and soak up the bumps, but also to extend into the holes and divots of the trail, keeping your tires in the dirt and tracking the ground. I usually start with the recommended pressure for my body weight and then make a few small tweaks out on the trail. If you want to make sure you dial your sag just right, I have a link in the description for a video that walks you through this whole process. Having the right contact points is essential to staying in control on your bike. Whether you ride clipped in with clipless pedals, yeah, I know that makes no sense. Or you prefer the freedom of flat pedals, just make sure to at least replace these cheap plastic ones. As for your saddle, if you're lucky enough to have found a bike seat that doesn't make you go numb down there, stick with it. I'd love to hear what kind of seats you guys run, as I'm still in the hunt for that perfect marriage. My Cro-Mag Trailmaster is the closest thing to perfect that I've found, but I'm sure there's more comfortable out there. And finally, your grips. You might luck out and get stock grips that you love, but for me, I like to stick with the ones that I know and work well for me. This often overlooked step won't keep you safer on the trail or make your new whip ride any better, but a brand new bike sure is tempting for thieves. Although getting your new bike back after it's been stolen is very unlikely, in the event that it's found, the registration will make proving that it's your bike a very simple process. To put your brake pads to bed sounds kind of funny, but it's so important. If you've ever installed new brake pads on an old bike, you should be familiar with this process. But this is one that many people skip before hitting the trails. To bed in my brake pads, here's what I do. I find a small hill I can ride over and over. I get up to speed and apply one brake at a time, about 75% strength. And before coming to a stop, I release and do it all over again. After 5 or 6 times, you'll find that your brakes are biting a lot harder and eventually let you lock up the rear wheel for a skid or the front wheel for a nose manual. Once you can lock up both brakes, you're ready to hit the trails.
So I'll be taking this guy to the trail to find out if this $2,000 trail bike can become my main bike. But for that to happen, it's gonna have to beat my Meta. I've invested $5,000 into this enduro bike and I absolutely love it. So can a bike half the price do everything that this guy can? When that video's ready, I'll post it right here. But in the meantime, this is the video that YouTube thinks you'll like the best. I'll see you guys there.